Awesome. All right. Looks like we're live. What's going on, everybody? Good to see you guys here. I'm super excited about this today because I've got a really awesome guest here who's going to be dropping some knowledge bombs for all of you guys. We're going to be talking about timing in network marketing today. And I put a little disclaimer up, and I want to make sure that everyone saw it. This live is 100% only for people who can see trends before they're trendy. So if you're like somebody who likes to follow crowds, just jump off right now because we are going to be bringing it. So if you are jumping on live, just drop your name below. Let me know that you're here, where you're coming in from. And if you're catching the replay later, just drop us a replay in the comments below too, so we can circle back and say hello. So I want to introduce you guys to a friend of mine. This is Craig Cushman here. And Craig has a really cool background. I actually met him in a previous network marketing company that I was a part of. He was actually a corporate executive there, became one of my mentors and somebody that I credit with a lot of who I am today and the success that I've been able to have in this industry. And it's truly like actually awesome to be on here with you, Craig. And especially now because you are in the same boat as me. You jumped ship. You went from corporate cushy Cushman over to the other side. You decided to join the field. And I know that there's many reasons why you and your wife, Rachel, decided that this was the time for you to do this. But I was hoping that I could just ask you some questions today, kind of like, I guess, starting with your background and how you got into network marketing and then go from there. Does that sound good?
Sounds fantastic. Yeah. So thank you. It's good to be here. And Beck, you're one of my favorites of all time. We had a lot of fun. And one of my favorite things about our friendship is that you really didn't like me at first, which is awesome.
I really didn't, actually. I actually kind of hated you.
I know you did. And then since I've made you lots and lots of money, so it all leveled out. So that's good.
It all worked out. So
and now you love me and I love you. So so listen, I have how I got into network marketing is kind of interesting. I have been a salesman my entire life. So 30 something years of professional sales level stuff. And back in the, back in the 90s, I had gotten involved in product or coaching and educational services, and I kind of knew then that my plan in life was to inspire people to be what they needed to be, and it actually stemmed from reading a book in the late 90s, about 20 something years ago. I read this book called Leadership from the Inside Out by a guy named Kevin Cashman. No relationship to Cushman, but obviously.
Just a close name. Got it.
So this book was. It really isn't that the book was so spectacular. It was that my involvement in the book was spectacular. I actually read it for the first time with a deep desire to figure out who the hell I was and what I was about in life. And I wrote in the margins in the front cover of the book, I wrote something then that was kind of an epiphany for me. And it said that my purpose on earth was to awaken the people and organizations I work with to their possibilities. Now, I know when you hear that the first time, you're kind of like, well, that's not that brilliant. That sounds like just being a good person. And I would agree. It's not like a mind bending statement, but for me, it was, I clarified my purpose. And that my job is to educate people and bring people to greater awareness and open them up to their and confront their limitations and step into their greatness and their possibilities. And so what I was doing at the time is I was selling chemical raw materials around the world. I was kind of a hotshot, traveling all over the place. It was kind of cool. I enjoyed it. And I saw parts of the world I've never been back to and maybe never will go back to. But that's what set me in motion. And then I had a little bit of experience back in the early days of New Skin. I had built a little team in Connecticut and made a couple bucks, but I failed as quickly as I succeeded. And I kind of set that aside. But I always had an appreciation that there's a better way to do things. And direct sales is one of those places that's a better way to do things. I didn't have a college degree. I was always up against this mindset, this left brain linear intellectual mindset that said, well, if you didn't go to college, you're not good enough for us in our business. And it wasn't that I wasn't intellectually equal, or even in many cases superior. It's that I didn't have the pedigree, and so doors would be closed to me. So I always kept my mind like, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a way to do things. And again, direct sales is one of those places where it's the opposite of regular business, right? My son, my second son, worked at Google for about 5 years. He's at Pinterest now, but he told me that every time there was a job opportunity at Google, 50,000 applications came in. And so they would try to winnow it down to, 3 or 4 people and fly them in and have the conversation. But in direct sales, it's the direct opposite. 50,000 people can come in, but only 3 or 4 are going to actually like grind it, figure it out, and succeed. The rest are going to sort of self-select out or become mediocre players in the game. And so to me, what fired my ass was that direct sales allows anybody to step into it and become a powerhouse. And so I've gone about doing that. So I've been an executive in 4 different direct sales companies. Most recently, I was the vice president of Avon. Everybody's heard of Avon. And Avon's been around 134 years. It's not really a direct sales company. It's kind of an odd hybrid, and it's broken in so many ways. But I did that for a couple of years. I ran a $200 million part of the business. I had 70,000 representatives that I had direct responsibility for, and it was a cushy job. It was actually a lot of fun, lots of perks, lots of travel, lots of stuff. But my soul was definitely not into it, and what brought me into what I'm doing now is exactly what the theme of this conversation is, which is timing. Because there's a known quantity about business. There's a known quantity about everything. There's a known quantity about relationships, families, lottery tickets, for crying out loud. It's all about timing, right? It's a big deal. And in fact, there was a video put out a few years ago by a very savvy business incubator by the name of Bill Gross. He runs a company called Idea Lab. And Idea Lab has really kicked off like hundreds of different companies. Some are big, some are just smaller powerhouses. But in that, he said that there are 5 absolute key factors for a startup, and he named them. And they all have a weight in success, but none is as weighty as timing. So in real estate, it's location. In business and specifically direct sales, it's timing. You got to have good funding. You got to have lots of money to sit behind you to prop you up, to manage the ebbs and flows. You got to have a really high quality business model. Direct sales is absolutely a high quality business model. You got to have really innovative products and good ideas and things that inspire people. It has to make a difference in people's lives. They have to either get healthier, feel better, look better, whatever it is. And you have to have a really rock solid team. You got to have good people, just like the team that we build in this. You got to have the right people on the bus. You got to have the right people that drive the bus. You got to have the right people that build the bus. And so you got to have all that, but nothing has as much influence as timing. So I have always paid very close attention to whatever's coming through the marketplace. There's always a shiny thing. There's always a new thing. Could be skincare or human growth hormone crap or like silly stuff or wearable technology or I've seen so many different things, and people are now the hot stuff that people are talking about could be CBD. It could be nanotechnology CBD. Listen, if you listen and look around, there's a million things, and all of them have some form of timing, but all of the other factors start to weigh in besides just timing. So you have to have eyes wide open. You got to be intelligent, smart, savvy, have great gut instinct, and all of those things played out for me, which is what brought Rachel and I to this. That was a really long answer to your
No, that was awesome. That was awesome. Are you guys loving this? Drop us a value in the comments if you are getting massive value from Craig right now, because I know I am. I love that. So you before Avon, right? You were with another company that you were there when the timing was right, right? You were on the executive end when the timing was right. And you saw people go from, making a couple $1,000s a month to 6 figures a month, right?
Easy. Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about what that looked like?
Yeah, it's really interesting because, when you do a little diagnostic retrospective and you look at some of the people who make money that you end up dreaming about, because listen, a few $1,000s a month, there's about 1 billion ways to go do that, but making 6 figures a month, I know a lady that came in and she's now making over $450,000 a month, and she started when I was there, and so I'm pretty familiar with the business building system that a lot of these people employ, and they don't always look at the comp plan and the whatever's presented by the corporation. They usually end up developing a hybrid version of it, and that's exactly what Rachel and I are doing, even in our conversation with what we're doing, because what happens is, again, it's all about the timing. So there are four stages of growth, and I want to say some things about the people too, but here's what I know: it is not people specific. It's because a lot of the people that are making a lot of money in some of these other companies have no attributable skills or talents that separate them from anybody else. They have optimism, they have grit, they have they're kind generally, they're enthusiastic mostly. They're not any more intelligent or anything else. In many cases, they just grind out the business. They pay attention to the nuances, and they set themselves up at the right time. And here's what I know about the 4 stages of growth. And this is something that that a lot of great leaders in direct sales are familiar with. But when a direct sales company is coming together for the first time, it's just like Google, or Microsoft or whatever. You see the pictures of Bill Gates in the garage, or Sergey and whatever his name is at Google, in their garage in California. That is literally the foundation and formulation of their business, and we revere those things. That's when 2 brilliant brains came together and created something. That process is called foundation and formulation. That's a key part of timing. Now, listen, if you could have invested in Apple or Google at that point, you're a gajillionaire. But the problem is you didn't even know that it existed, and most people never will. And so for foundation and formulation is when a brain trust of smart people that the team starts to come together. Then they migrate into concentration and small expansion, and in that expansion, they start to grab other key people, the marketing person, the salespeople, the whatever. There's always another group of people that are the second wave of brain trust that start to do this, and then they start reaching out to their top sellers, and that's where really entrepreneurial, seasoned people come around. Typically not new, young people. It's usually some people that have been down the path a time or two, because they have a team that they can go grab and bring in. And in that process, that's concentration and expansion. But while those people are expanding themselves, they are grabbing new people. And then what that sets up is, as that popcorn starts to pop. I'm in Indiana, I'm in Minnesota, I'm in New Jersey. That stuff starts popping. Then you start to get this energetic wave that starts to emit, and it's momentum. It's the creation of a tipping point, and a creation of a momentous move, that this thing has been going like this, and then it hockey sticks. That area is called the hosel of a hockey stick, that it hockey sticks upward. And in that moment, there's an expansion that is incalculable, it's indescribable, and it's irrefutable. It's also not something that that you can control. You grow whether you try or not, and you get a disproportionate amount of growth on your team, a disproportionate amount of growth in your income, even for doing the same amount that you've always done, but you're expanding by 10x. And so what I've long known is that whatever I saw coming, because to your point, earlier about trends, which I loved what you said. I love what you said, how you said that, Beck, because you were like, if you're not into looking at forward trends, then bounce on out, because you have to have, that's right, you have to be a futurist, right? And so as people see this shift, what happens is you get a 10x and even more, it could be 20x growth on whatever your income base is at the time that movement starts to happen. Now, the truth is most people will gravitate and join during that upward trend, because there's excitement, there's energy, they're seeing it, they're like, yes, I get it. There's proof points that they can look back on and say, oh my gosh, yeah, Lady Gaga's been saying that for 2 years or whatever. Like, there's some proof point in their head that they look back and go, I validate this thought, I'm coming in right now. And you can make money in that moment just as well. But where the real money is, the real expansive, residual, passive, massive passive residual income exists. It gets created back here before the upturn. And that's where you create game-changing legacy stuff. And again, it's not about intellect, personality, or anything else. It's about stick-to-itiveness. It's about grit, grind, attitude, strength, mental toughness, languaging, and just a pure entrepreneurial spirit, knowing that you're investing here for a return here of exponential proportion. And sometimes you do that with the wrong company, and some people do it with the right company. And the smart money pays attention to who's in what. And so that's, like, again, I see lots of things out there. People are like committed to it, and I think that's wonderful. And I can predict with absolute certainty that they're going to go off a cliff in about 2 years or whatever. And I want to smack them in the brain and say, wake the heck up. But people are just dumb, and they're proud, and they're egotistical, and I can be too, don't get me wrong, but I know what I know because of 20 years of doing this, watching it, seeing it, being an executive in it, knowing what's going on behind the curtain and what's going on in front of the curtain. And so what I'm sitting on right now has all the elements at the right time, at the right place. And I'm looking a year and a half out, and I'm saying whatever I have to do to grow my income over the next year and a half, to have a 10x, 20x exponent on that number is going to send my paycheck, my life into the stratosphere. So that's why I left my big, cushy, high salary, travel around the world position, because listen, a few $100,000 is a lovely thing to do, but a few $100,000 a month is even better. So
hell yes, I love that. So I want to get into in a second about what exactly you are sitting on. And give all of you guys that are interested a special invitation to learn more about that. But before I do that, I just want to kind of I wanted to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying correctly. So basically what you're saying is that there's tons of direct sales companies out there, right? There's hundreds and hundreds of network marketing, direct selling companies
around the world.
And you could probably be successful in any of them, right? Like, you could be that person who becomes successful in any company, no matter where it falls in the stages of growth that you just talked about.
I think so.
Right. It's possible. Yeah. But most of the money and most of the success and most of the impact is made and comes during that time period of growth and expansion. Is that right? The
money doesn't come during growth and expansion. You literally work your ass off, and you work your ass off for a living wage. But what is happening is your value, your stock is rising in a disproportionate, invisible way that you can't see, because you're gathering a team, and they're getting like-minded, and they're getting like-acted, and they're building a rhythm and a cadence that once the all the elements in the atmosphere agree with it, and things turn northward, those things expand faster. And with every bit of expansion comes team growth and revenue growth and income growth. And so while you don't even do a lot of work at that moment.
You're doing the work beforehand.
You did all the work over here, and it's hard, and it's painful, and it's mind screwing, and it's all kinds of, you want to quit on a daily basis. And it's what sets the mentally tough and the world class apart from the mediocre and the broke is that in these moments when you want to quit, you don't. You just step in and you say, you know what? I have such belief in my heart and soul that this is the right place. There's enough evidence and enough smart people who have seen this before that say, do this. I'm going to ride this wave. And then sure enough, you find yourself on a surfboard at the top of this giant wave, and money's just rolling at you. And I've watched this time and again. I coached a girl in 2013 to 2014, and I predicted with absolute accuracy when she went from like $4,000 or $5,000 a month when I first met her, started working with her. I predicted to within 2 weeks' time when she would be making $70,000 a month, and now she makes $200,000 a month. And then that literally happened in about a 7-month period. I was involved with her team. I was doing events for them. I was coaching. I was with them, and I just told her a few things to do. She did a bunch of other stuff. I don't want to say it was on all me, but I had a role in it. And so listen. That had everything to do with understanding the environment that you're in. It's the vehicle, it's the environment, because you could do all the things that I did in a company that's 100 and something years old or 50 years old or whatever. You could do all of those activities and get zero return, because it's all about the vehicle. You put two 16-year-olds on the street, and you put two cars on the street, and one is a 25-year-old Toyota Corolla, and one is a 2019 Maserati. And you put the two kids behind the wheel. They're both 16. They just got their license. Who's going to drive faster down the street? It has nothing to do with the kid. It has everything to do with the vehicle that they're in. So it's the vehicle, the timing, and all of that. And that's what lights this stuff up. So it's all about that.
It's freaking awesome. So how many of you guys would love to have results like what Craig was just talking about, going from making $3,000 a month to $200,000 a month in a small time frame, right? Drop me a yes if you would love to have results like that. So here's the deal, right? Is you've got to be smart enough to see the trends before they're coming if you want to have results like that. You can't join once you see people having results like that. It's too late. You missed the boat, right? So Craig, from your perspective, as somebody who, worked on this corporate side for years and just recently flip-flopped and you joined an amazing company, the first ever mental wellness company. Why did you do that? Like, why this company right now? What are you sitting on? Tell us.
So every element of what I said are keys to successful startup is in place. Amazing funding. The money sitting behind this company is from one man. It's not a group. It's not a hedge fund. It's not a private equity. It's not a group of punks that just all put up $1 million that they got from their trust fund from mommy and daddy. This is one dude with a passion for health and wellness, because he sold one company for 220 million, and then he had the fortuitous ability to sell another company for 3.2 billion. And the guy knows how to make money, but while he was doing it, he was losing his soul. He was losing his health to addiction, to pain pills, and alcohol. And so he had this reflective moment in his own life that's not what being an optimal human being is all about. He's got all the money. And then once you have all the money, then you start to think about what's your purpose on life? What's your meaning in life? And I'm at that stage. I'll be 54 this year. And I'm like, I'm deep in the throes of this movement in life where I'm so comfortable in my own skin, and I know who I am, and I know what I've done and what I haven't done, what I'm ready to do and what I'm ready to put aside. And this has my attention because it has all the elements of, it's got the funding. I love this business model. It's got ideas and innovation. It's got products that are game changing. So there's a big thing out in the world. Everybody's looking for smart drugs and nootropics and all of these things, Qualia and these different companies that are out there, and they work to a point. But smart drugs, some of them are even getting into the point of being like weird. But what this company is all about is they're providing brain optimization, which is what we're all after. Brain health is the new physical health, mental wellness, cognitive fitness, psychological vigor, energy, sleep. These are all the new frontiers. They seem like the old frontiers. They're human needs, but we're all looking for how do we get them? And we look for it in different ways. Some of us drink 2 pots of coffee a day with a couple of monster drinks to have energy. We get jacked up and dropped off every day. And it's a death spiral, right? So for me, what I paid attention to is what can I do for my own optimal wellness and health? I want to live off the charts. I want to live with full energy. I want to live with the kind of energy that's necessary to be a great husband, a great dad, a great grandfather, all of that stuff. And I have all of those roles in my life, and I want to be awesome at them. I also, because of my age, I'm aware that there are people that are 20 years younger than me that are on my heels coming at me with ideas and things like that. I need to be able to run as fast as those little dudes because they're going to be up my butt in a minute in my job and everything else. So if you're a corporate guy, you're looking for how do I keep that optimal edge and all of that. And so to me, that presents a massive need. And there's a huge societal shift going on right now that we're opening up the ability to talk freely about things that are limiting for us. Now, at my age, when I was a kid, we didn't talk about Ritalin kids in school were the weird ones. And we didn't talk about depression and anxiety. We didn't do any of that stuff because it looked weak. And even to this very day, it still feels like if I say, man, you know what, I'm struggling with depression. When you take a risk when you do that because people don't understand it. And if they come from the old school, they can say, that's weak, you're weak, no promotion for you. But we're shifting. Our whole society is shifting. Lady Gaga stands at the Emmys and impassionedly reminds us, don't be like that. Michael Phelps, the most decorated athlete in American history, is on commercials saying, get therapy. You need it. I needed it to win. You need it to win. Prince Harry and Oprah are doing a multi-part documentary series about mental health, mental wellness, and as Prince Harry calls it, cognitive fitness, or no, mental fitness, he calls it, as the competitive edge. That's how you get edge. Now, for me, a natural way to do that is a big thing. Now, there's one other point I want to blow your mind with.
Yes, blow it.
You ready?
Yeah.
So doTERRA is the biggest direct sales company in the United States. Did you know that?
I did know that.
It's 2.5 billion. That's in essential oils. I don't even know what essential oils really do. I don't take them. I don't smell them. I don't know. I think I excrete a few, but that's a different story.
I take them and smell them and do all those weird things.
I know that they're probably fine. But doTERRA does $2.5 billion in the United States. Rodan and Fields, Skin Crack, is 1.5 billion. 10-year-old company, doTERRA about the same time frame. What happens in this thing that I didn't say on these 4 stages of growth is once you get to about that 10-year mark, companies flatline. They just go stable. And you could build a business there because people come and go. Some of them tank. Some of them have an up and down, and you can grind out a business, but you never, ever experience that momentum again. It's one time in a company's history. Here's what's going to blow your mind. This company is outpacing both doTERRA and Rodan and Fields.
What?
In their first 2 years.
No way.
Outpacing by a long shot. So listen, when I came to Rodan and Fields as an exec in 2012, we struggled to get to. We were struggling. It took years to get it. It started in 2008. It took about 3.5, 4 years to become profitable. This company became profitable in 18 months. I'm telling you, like, I've talked to the executives of this company. This thing is on pace. It's a bigger market. It's a faster growth. It's a faster adoption. And it's going to move internationally faster than these other companies did. This thing is the thing. It's the right thing. It's because it literally makes people feel better. And when you feel better, you're better. Like I always say, when you feel better, you look better. And when you look better and feel better, you're better. And when you're better, better things happen because you're feeling better. And when better things happen, you tend to be happier. And when you're happier, you tend to be more successful because people like happy people. People like to be around success. It's a magnet. So if you want to be more successful, work on feeling better. And what helps people feel better is what we're doing right now, which is way cool.
You just like blew my mind, Craig. Who here is mind blown? Let's get a mind blown emojis in the comments if you're mind blown, or just type mind blown. Here's the deal though, guys, is that don't ever say that nobody offered you a spot on a rocket ship before, okay? Because that is exactly what we're doing right now. And there's a lot of people that are probably watching this and thinking, I'm going to wait and see, right? Let's see. Let's watch Craig and Beck go on and freaking crush it. And we're just going to watch, sit on the sidelines and see. Then there's some of you guys who are watching that are legit excited about pioneering something and being involved in something before it hits the mass market, right? And that's who I'm talking to today. Like I said at the beginning, if you don't see that shit, get the F off of here. We're good with it. We're good, right? Like we're outpacing. We're good. But
there's popcorn in the stands if you want to watch the game. Enjoy. Or get on the field and play because it's freaking awesome down here. So whatever.
Exactly. So guys, if you are interested in learning more about how you can jump on this rocket ship, don't ever forget that right now I am offering you a VIP seat on this rocket ship. All you have to do is type rocket ship in the comments below, and I will personally reach out to you and we will have a conversation about whether this is the right fit for you or not. What I want to do real quick though is thank Craig for being on here today, because Craig, you are truly phenomenal and you put into words what you have seen over your 20, 30 years in this industry in a way that I don't think anyone else can do it. So I hope everyone on here really understands what a privilege it was to listen to you share what your career has been like and what led you here today, because I got so much out of it. So thank you again, Craig. I appreciate you being here.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Listen, I think everybody needs a shot. Everybody needs a shot at greatness. Everybody needs a shot at hearing what can help them win. We have we have something that you won't see, but a few times in your lifetime. And if you're not wanting to play the business, get the products so you can be awesome at whatever else you do. So reach out to Beck and get the products in your body so you can excel. But I promise you get closer to this thing, you're going to feel the love and you're going to want to be a part of this because this is game changer. So you're welcome. I'm glad I could be here, and I'm looking forward to watching your team explode like their minds are.
Yeah. All right, guys. Have an awesome day. We will talk to you soon. Thanks again, Craig.
You got it.